Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Stephanie, and today I'm going to be recording a video that I'm going to disclaim right off the bat may or may not offend some people. I'm just being totally real here with you guys. This is a video all about things that have bothered me thus far with this pregnancy. This is my first pregnancy that I have been able to experience this far along. So being very open in public with a pregnancy and growing and things like that, people do and say things that they probably don't realize might be offensive to a pregnant woman, or just things that are, you know, one of those things that just really irk somebody's nerves while they're pregnant, especially being pregnant on top of it already and being hormonal and that kind of thing. So I'm going to right off the bat just say this is not to offend anybody whatsoever. This is just my personal opinion on things that have bothered me and have just been a pet peeve to me being pregnant thus far. So first and foremost, before I even start with this video, I just want to say thank you all so much. I have reached 500 subscribers, and this is just like a goal of mine after, you know, I switched what my channel was about and just slowly gaining more and more people following me and making friends with people and talking to people that I have inspired or have inspired me, and it's just so awesome. This is the one reason that I love YouTube. I get to make cool stranger friends, and 500 of you, that's just insane. Thank you so much. So I'm just gonna jump right into the big elephant in the room here. I have to be quite honest, there's been a lot of things that have become like a pet peeve to me in being pregnant. I'm not even just gonna say this pregnancy, because I really truly believe that every single pregnant woman that has to go through this and get asked the same questions and get told the same things, and it's just kind of like, ugh. I think one of my biggest pet peeves that I've come to know thus far is women who are pregnant at the same time as me. I'm not even gonna say you, I'm gonna say me, because this is my genuine opinion. Women that are pregnant at the same time as me, a lot of them seem to think like they have some sort of like superiority complex above me. And honestly, it's just so frustrating because I hate being spoken to as if I don't know something, or I'm, you know, being taught something that I do already know. Like, instead of somebody asking you if you know something and they just assume you don't, they start talking about it. For instance, to be more specific, I knew somebody who was a few weeks ahead of me, and it was like everything she was experiencing had to be like 10 times more than what I was experiencing, or 10 times more intense than what I was experiencing, or just simply the fact that she really felt like she knew more about pregnancy and was like this pregnancy expert because she was a few weeks ahead of me. Mind you, people, come on. Every pregnancy is different, every woman's body is different, and every pregnancy in the same woman is going to be different than your last pregnancy. So when people would come up to me who's like a few weeks ahead of me and be like, oh, just wait for this to happen, and oh, just wait for this to happen, and especially when it was something like saying in a negative way, it really kind of frustrated me, because I'm thinking at the same time, it's like, just because you went through it doesn't mean I'm going to. And honestly, it was kind of funny because that person in particular, I didn't experience anything that person was like warning me about. So to me, I was kind of like, ha! It ignored me the whole time I was being told to wait for this and wait for that, when I didn't know what was going to come in my pregnancy. She didn't know what was going to come in my pregnancy. So for her to put that on me, and especially like I said, it being like a negative manner, I would definitely, absolutely, not even gonna lie, purposely go out of my way to let the world know that such and such things did not occur for me. Honestly, no woman, I don't care if you've had 10 kids, there's no woman who is an expert on pregnancy. Even an OB is not an expert on pregnancy. Every woman goes through different things at different times, and, you know, different things happen to different women and in different pregnancies, and that's just how it is. And you can't tell somebody what they're going to experience because you don't know. Even if somebody has similar experiences to you, it does not mean that their pregnancy was the same as yours. So for someone to come and tell you to expect all these horrible things, honestly, is just stupid. And not to mention, it's kind of like that person being a Debbie Downer, like pointing out all the negatives. To be honest, I heard more of the just wait for the negatives than I did the positives. And thank God for the people who aren't like that, and the women who did come to me and say, oh, just wait till you start feeling like, you know, him kicking, and just wait until you get that glow, and just wait till your hair gets thick and beautiful, and just wait until you get to wear this and not have to wear what you look like because the bump is cute. And like, thank God for those people, because those are the kind of people that should be talking to pregnant women, not the women who just want to make everything about pregnancy so negative. So another one of my larger pet peeves are, and oddly enough, a lot of my pet peeves come from women, which you would think women being a mom, like they would know better than to say and do certain things, and honestly the people that it comes from the most, at least in my experience so far, would be women who are current mothers who have to dictate and have an opinion about every single thing that I want to do and the type of person that I want to be as a parent. No one is going to tell you how to parent your child. No one is going to make you believe you should parent your child a certain way. So I do feel like it's really wrong of somebody to just have an opinion about every little thing that you talk about wanting to do in your parenting and even in your pregnancy. I have even some women, you know, say that I was crazy or I was being like over precautious and paranoid because I would avoid certain things, and I've been avoiding certain things. But you know what? Who cares? It's not your pregnancy to worry about. I'm going to worry about everything I feel that I need to, and that's my decision. The worst part about it is that a lot of the times that I would experience these people, they were asking me what I would do. Like I have not once in this pregnancy just come out to somebody and said, you know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. Somebody would ask me out of curiosity, but I really think it was honestly, truthfully, out of wanting to say their opinion without me asking for it. And that's really bothersome too, because really it's not right of somebody to ask you a question about who you are and what you're going to do as a parent, and then purposefully try to convince you to do something a different way. I mean, giving advice, don't get me wrong. If I ask for advice, or even if someone just came out, and a lot of people have, you know, people that actually have been respectful about it will say, you know, just to tell you what I did and just like my advice, it worked for me, maybe it'll work for you, would be da 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 da. But for the people who are like, oh really? Well, because you know, I did it this way, and you know, my son or my daughter is this way because of it, is wrong. My child is not your child, and just because something worked for you doesn't mean it's going to work for me. And like I said, advice is advice, but for someone to just completely shoot down how you plan to do something, to then just tell you how they did it their way and say their way is the best way and the only right way and that's it, is wrong. I've also had people, women mostly, who would ask me about certain name choices I had and were just really negative on my name choices. And again, it was just one of those things where I didn't just come out and tell them, they asked me, and then they felt the need to just be very negative about it. I can't tell you how many people, we chose the name Maverick for our son. I am pregnant with a boy. If you have not seen my previous videos, his name is Maverick Paul, and I can't tell you the amount of people that had a comment to me about the name Maverick and it being the name of a car. Now, first of all, I didn't even know it was the name of a car. I'm not a big muscle car fan, and I knew nothing about it. But either way, it was the fact of like the way people would ask, like, oh, you're naming him after a car? Or Maverick, like the car? No, Maverick like my son. And it's just rude. Like if you're gonna ask somebody, even if you don't like it and you're gonna talk about it behind my back later on, you just nod and say, oh, that's cute, and you continue about your day. You just don't go out of your way to be rude or have a negative opinion towards a pregnant woman and their decision, especially if you ask for it. So another pet peeve of mine I have learned in this pregnancy is actually aimed towards the opposite gender, the men who think they know everything because they're a father. Now, listen, I couldn't be one to say anything up until I had to go through this myself, and it is the God's honest truth. Men swear they know what a woman goes through because, yes, I do believe, and it just seems to be that way, and I could be wrong, but just from what I've experienced and seen myself, 9 times out of 10, a lot of the fathers go through very similar things that other fathers go through while their wife or whoever is pregnant with their child. Yes. But that does not mean they have any inkling of an idea of what the woman is going through. I can say from personal experience, honestly, Ray, my fiance, is pretty good for the most part. I can't even really complain much about him. He has been very, very good to me and very understanding and empathetic for the most part. But I do have to say there has been times where he or I've seen other men talk about how, you know, their wives were when they were pregnant and trying to relate how they felt to how a woman felt during pregnancy. Yes, it is scientifically proven, you can read about it anywhere, that men have sympathy pains and whatever, and it is like a psychological hormonal thing that you have, like that they connect with to you, and I get that. But for them to really think that they're experiencing what a woman is actually experiencing while her body is physically going through all these changes is just completely mind-boggling to me. It's one thing to say and to say like, yeah, you know, I had the sympathy pains and I had the sympathy hunger and this, that, whatever, and the you know, the hormones reflected and stuff like that. But to really sit there and say, I knew exactly what she was going through because I felt it too. Hello! You are not the one carrying the child. You cannot tell me that you physically feel how I feel or have ever felt it, because guess what? You've never experienced it and you never will. I don't mean to sound like a brat or like I'm just being rude and cruel, but this is the God's honest truth. Like, you can't tell me any man in the entire world, because no man has been pregnant, at least from what I know, understand what a woman's body physically goes through and the hormones and everything. You cannot relate. You just can't do it. So to try to, and then to just be kind of like cruel on top of it, or to really try to like one-up the woman and say that you know better than her about pregnancy while she's pregnant, just why? Okay, so this is the portion where I'm done bitching about people and how they've made me feel, and I'm just going to talk about the pregnancy in general and pet peeves I've had. So one thing, the obvious thing that I think a lot of women go through is the pet peeve of trying to find comfortable things to wear that you still feel good in. I'm sorry, I'm totally okay with being comfortable and looking like a complete bum and hell at home, but like, I don't know, when I'm going out in public to the store or even at work sometimes, like yes, I want to be comfortable and I get that, and the bigger I get, the more I'm going to understand how important it is for me to be comfortable more so than anything else. But I also really do want to feel good about myself. It's bad enough and hard enough to cope with as a woman, and as a woman who is as insecure as I've always been, to watch my body do things that I have no control over. As much as I obviously love and have desired to be pregnant, you know, for so long, and I absolutely love it, and I love my belly and I love my son and him living inside of me, I have to admit, I don't love the growing of everything else. My hips getting bigger, my thighs being as swollen and huge as they are, my knees always looking gross and swollen, my face getting rounder, my arms looking bigger, and not in a good way. It's really, really hard to cope with that. So feeling that way about yourself, and then on top of that, trying to find clothes that you are comfortable in and feel good in at the same time, is just damn near impossible. I actually did find a few things a couple months ago, and then I just went recently like maternity shopping, which doesn't end up with me getting a whole lot of things because number one, I am not going to spend a ton of money on clothes that I'm only going to wear for a few months. So I try to go with stuff that I can wear with the bump and that I could still wear afterward too, and it's not going to lose its value, and I'm not going to have wasted my money on it. But I did just recently try to get a few more things because the leggings and things that fit me comfortably and I felt good in don't fit me anymore. After about 6 months, when my belly really kind of popped out and rounded out, they just don't, they're not comfortable. They don't fit. And you think, like, there's so many women that are pregnant, and you would think that a lot of different stores and companies would be more sympathetic towards that and have more of an option, and they don't. So it's frustrating. I recently went to the Salvation Army to get a couple things, and the maternity section was very, very limited, and it was mostly like extra, extra, extra larges or extra, extra smalls. And my body type, I am nowhere near either of those ends of the spectrum. I am kind of somewhere in the middle, and it's hard to fit my body into clothes as it is because I'm like thicker from the waist down than I am from the waist up, and it's always been very difficult for me. So add being pregnant on top of that, trying to find clothes has been driving me insane. And even aside from thrift stores, because honestly that's like the best bet, that's the best route I think to go, because you're not going to spend a ton of money on clothes that you're not going to wear, or you can go and get big t-shirts, and then when you lose the baby weight, cut them up all cute and whatever you want to do, or whatever, go crazy. But to go to stores like Walmart, where their maternity section is a total of like 6 hooks in like half in this little section of a small section of clothes, just completely blows my mind. And it's really frustrating. Oh, and then you have places like Target. Target has the cutest maternity clothes. I found this adorable pair of jeans that I want to get so bad, and they fit nice and they were comfortable. And they had like, they were like distressed, and they didn't have like a huge big belly band, but they were expanded around the top where you could fit and grow into them as your belly's growing too. And then I looked down at the price tag. $26 for one pair of pants that I'm going to wear for 3 more months? Yeah, not doing it. And I don't think these companies think this way when they're making their clothing. We're not going to care if they're a little cheaper made, so we're not spending a ton of money on clothes we're only going to wear for a few months. At least that's my opinion. I can't speak for every pregnant woman, but for someone like me who is definitely thrifty and very frugal with her money, that just cannot happen. I did get a couple things at Target months ago, and it was like a sweater with like a cowl neck thing on it with the little bit of ruching on the side that I will absolutely wear even after my pregnancy. It's so cute, and I spent like $20 on it. And a pair of maternity leggings that I got from Target that were like $16, which even those two prices were just like ridiculous to me. I didn't want to do it, but one or two items I would do to go and get like a whole wardrobe out of a maternity section is not going to happen. So I think the last and final thing I have to say about this video is just to remind everybody to please respect women expecting. You know, if you haven't gone through it, then you really don't understand just how much of a toll it takes on a woman. And if you have gone through it, then you really do understand, and you shouldn't be tearing down someone who's going through it themselves. No pregnant woman, no matter what kind of person they are, this is just what I believe, deserves to be anything but happy and anything but uplifted by everybody around them, because this really is such an exciting and joyous time, and they should be nothing short of just extremely happy. For anyone to intentionally try to be better than somebody else, pregnant or not, is wrong. So just be kind, people. Just be kind to one another. Just respect each other, and woman to woman especially. None of us want to deal with catty females. None of us want to be that catty female. So just be nice. It's really not that hard. And keep your mouth shut about some things. If you know it's going to offend somebody, or it's being done intentionally to be the total opposite of that person or what that person said, just try keeping your mouth shut instead. Just nod and say, that's cute, I like that idea, and go about your day. Talk shit about me behind my back later on. But just, I can't stress it enough. Just be thoughtful and mindful and be nice, and it's really not that hard to do. And that's pretty much that. So thank you guys for listening to me rant and rave yet again in another video. Again, this was not to offend anybody, and if it did, then maybe it's time you took a step back and took a look at yourself and realized what you might be doing to hurt somebody else. Even if you don't know you're doing it, you probably are. And that's it for that, guys. I'm gonna stop talking before I get myself into trouble. Don't forget to subscribe if you like my videos, and to hit that little bell to be notified every time I post a video. And if you just want to keep following our journey, and subscribe and all that stuff, and thumbs up and all that good stuff. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, 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 bye.